Hi there, Nicole. I hope you're doing okay. And that your husband is doing okay. I am going to give you a screencasted feedback on your course design so far. And I'm hoping that you can catch up and that you can complete the assignments over the next 2 weeks that we have, the final 2 weeks in the course. I'm going to look at your course initially sort of superficially, cosmetically, to give you some feedback and suggestions sort of about how things are placed and how they look. And then I'll go into a little bit more detail and then, we'll go from there. First, it doesn't really look like you have incorporated changes from the feedback that I gave you last time. Maybe you have, and maybe I'm just misremembering, but there are some things that I had hoped to see different, and I know that you have, had other things preoccupying you. But I had hoped to see some more progress and some things changed. I love how you've done this here. You're the only one in the course who has actually done it. So you've labeled your course, so you know right away when you come in the course, this is the course, Child Psychology, and Nicole is the instructor. And I think that looks great. I would delete this. This is an announcement forum, and I know you use Blackboard, or you're going to use Blackboard, but I would get rid of it here in Moodle. It does not allow for students to ask questions about announcements, so it looks like a forum. It has the icon like a forum. It when you look at it from the instructor perspective, you can't tell that the students can't reply. So it's really weird and misleading. I hate it. So I would suggest that you get rid of it here. And it's tied to this block here, so you have to get rid of the block also, unfortunately. If you want to do announcements with a discussion, then you'll have to just create an actual discussion and put it here so that you can use it for announcements. You could also just use this area the way that I do and post announcements straight up on the topic outline page. I would look at what you have in blocks and where, and get rid of the things that you don't need and add things that would be good to have. So for example, I would put people, this participant thing, over here up in this upper right hand corner so it's visible when you first come into the course immediately. I would get rid of upcoming events and recent activity. I don't really see how those are relevant to the students, facilitate navigation or course management in any way. They just are taking up space and add confusion, so I would get rid of those blocks. I would move participants over here. I would add who's online and messages. Those things I think should be visible from the course map view here and in a prime spot on the course map page so that you can see them. I love how you have made use of labels, and I think it's Kim asked how you were able to do that, and for anyone else who's listening, the way that this is created is with labels, and it's one of the little features that you have when you're creating content in Moodle. There's 2 areas where you can add like activities and add other things, and one of the other things is called a label, and so essentially it's just a text label that you can add, and that helps to break up the text in each of the blocks with heads and subheads, and then you can also indent and add spaces and kind of organize your content using the labels. I love how you have a consistent structure from module to module, very nicely done. Um, I like how you have adopted the at a glance and what's due when. You're test driving the course, and I think I gave you all kinds of feedback on this the first time. I like how you've done your icebreaker tasks. I don't really have a problem with the word task here because you're really just focusing on the students doing some of these sort of housekeeping administrative type activities, so I think it's fine. And you're numbering them, so you're keeping them organized for them, and I think it looks really good. Your what's due when documents are very nicely adapted from mine. Love the dates. Keep in mind that if you teach a lot of courses and you have to move from semester to semester quickly, you might want to not do this. And I know that I do it, but I only teach in the summertime, and so I've made the conscious decision to to carry the burden of updating my course with all the dates all interspersed in it. So for you, who it seems teach lots of courses and have a very full schedule, you might want to consider keeping a course schedule, a very robust, detailed course schedule. Kristen has a really good one that you should look at, and then linking to it, so there's no harm, and then all you have to do is update it in one place. So you could put a link to the schedule in here, and then not have to every time you teach the course comb through every document and make sure you get out all of the dates, because if you don't get them out, if you don't update them, it just is very confusing for the students and looks bad. So again, some of this stuff I gave you feedback on before, that I think you should think about. Not having things due at midnight if you're not going to correct them, at 12:01. So you're going to have this, you have course documents here. I couldn't figure out why you duplicated it here. It kind of doesn't make much sense to me. It doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't make much sense to me to duplicate them, especially when you say, somewhere here you tell them to go look at, it's one of the, it's this icebreaker, it tells them to go look on the left-hand side there, and look at the course info documents. So I just don't understand why those are duplicated there. You give nice instructions on how to participate in discussion. The thing that's missing for me is a rubric. I don't really understand how you're going to evaluate discussions. I see in your evaluation document that you have lovely sort of distribution of grades here. It's kind of messy though. I'd put it in a table or clean that up in some way so that it doesn't look quite so messy. But I need to see a rubric so I can understand better how I'm going to be evaluated in this course. I like how you have seeded the discussion with an introduction, but you didn't actually really introduce yourself. And I know you did in the welcome, but maybe, to establish some trust and some sense of community and your own social presence, you should fill this out, from your perspective as the instructor of the course. A little bit about why you teach it and what you get out of it and what you like about it and what you're interested in it. So, to give students a bit more insight into who you are and what you're about. All your tasks are good. I'm really happy to see that you are doing a blog. I would like to see a little bit more detail on, in terms of instructions on how to set up a blog. So, go to the EduBlog site and find some links that help the students to understand what they're supposed to do. And then, a little bit more understanding about, what they're supposed to be doing with their blog. You also mentioned that you use Digo, and I don't know how you use Digo yet. it's not clear from the course what your expectation is regarding DIGO or the blogs, really. I mean, you have the activity, you have them set it up, and then I know that you're having them do their journal there, but all right, maybe I'll just keep talking and as we go forward. Developmental project options. Yeah, I love that you're having them do a child case study and or an option between a child case study and service learning. Really, really very cool. Like I said, this course sounds fabulous. I'd love to take it. So all of this looks really engaging and interesting. The quiz, I wanted to try the quiz, but you haven't had a chance to fill out any of the quiz questions yet. For Module 2, again, you have some videos and some assignments, and you could put links here, you know. I know you have them here. Here are all of the links, but it's not bad to have them in the What's Due When document. In the discussion here, you know, you say that you want them to post a critical thinking question, and what I love about this activity is that it really is student-led and student-initiated in terms of what their interests are, but you don't explain what a critical thinking question is or give an example or like a model or something or any sort of supporting materials to help students understand what your expectations are. And again, the rubric is missing. Now maybe you just haven't gotten to it yet, and so I understand, but you really need that piece there. Nature versus nurture assignment. This looks like another discussion. And again, you're asking them to select one or the other, and then kind of, it's sort of like a position paper, which sounds interesting, sounds like an interesting activity. They're going to do field experiences. You explain to them how to write case notes and case study notes, and then also how to write their service learning journal, which you're going to have them do in their blog. Again, I think they need a little bit more scaffolding in terms of, you know, getting to their blog, where you're going to collect all the blogs so that they can see each other's blogs, you know, that kind of a thing. Again, I don't think you've gotten to the quizzes yet. So essentially, then the pattern repeats. You could use links here. The course content looks really interesting. You're going to have them do a critical thinking question about the beginning of development. You're going to have them post a birth plan. I love how you're giving them what a case study looks like and what a service learning paper looks like. Those are excellent examples, very good sort of information and scaffolding for them so that they know what you're expecting. Then you start having some unit projects that they have to turn in and have to do it through, you talk about turnitin.com, I think, in here somewhere. So you have a number of those types of projects. So that all looks very good. When we get to the last module, let me see what you have here. You are missing some content in a couple of places. So you say there's going to be a presentation of the projects. There's going to be feedback on the peers' development, peer-to-peer feedback on the development projects, and then course evaluation and suggestions. I would not call it course evaluation. Because course evaluation is something your department does or the institution does. What you're asking for here from the students is descriptive feedback. You just want to know how to continuously improve your own course and your practice and get good descriptive feedback from them. You need to use the questions, the open-ended questions in my manual. You won't get anything really substantive or useful from an open, just, this sort of vague question here. Nicole, I know you're having some challenges right now. You're doing an incredible job in the course. I hope that you can catch up, and I really hope that you get to teach this course and that you'll let me know how it goes. Good work.